Guitars and drums here. Welcome to an introduction to guitars, how to play guitars, whether it's acoustic or electric. There's just a few differences. Obviously, electric guitar you plug in, and acoustic guitar you do not. There are also classical guitars as well that you do not plug in, and some of them you do. So that's why I recommend that if you are going to get an acoustic guitar, that you go ahead and get an acoustic electric. And a tip for that is when you go to get your acoustic electric, make sure you don't plug it in first. Play the guitar to where it actually sounds like an acoustic guitar. And then at that point, you'll have a better product when you go to plug it in for an acoustic electric guitar. The next thing you're going to want to do, especially if it's not an electric guitar, or even if it is, you're going to want to pick up a snark. And they just clip right onto your headstock. 90% of your sound comes out of the headstock, believe it or not. You can look that up from Yngwie Malmsteen. That's one of the reasons why they developed the snark, is because 90% of the sound comes out of the headstock. So the next, in those tunings for each string are going to be E, A, D, G, B, E, if you're in what's called concert A. Now, there's also natural A, okay? In fact, everything used to be natural A. There was no such thing as 440 hertz concert A. It was all 432 hertz natural A, which adds up to 9, by the way. It goes along with 3, 6, 9, the mathematics of the universe and so forth. So 440 is actually a skewed frequency, believe it or not. And it does not equal 3, 6, or 9. So that's why it's known as a skewed frequency. And actually, I could go into more detail, but you can look into that yourself. So for concert A, you're going to be doing, starting with the big string, is going to be E, A, D, G, B, E. And the easiest way to remember that is eat a darn good breakfast early. And that's a good way to remember the names of each open string, it's called. That's an open string way to play the guitars. They're just open. Okay, that's your open. Then you're going to have what's known as open position major chords. You're going to want to learn those first. And then, of course, you can understand, later you'll be able to understand what a minor chord is. So major chords are always happy sounding, and minor chords are always sad sounding. Also, when it comes to picks, you're going to want to, try different picks. They have thick, medium, and thin picks. And so, play with all kinds of different picks as you learn to play the guitar. Until you find a pick that you really, are comfortable with. And also, that might also change. The more that you learn to play the guitar, the more that you'll figure out what, thickness of pick that you need for your particular picking style, okay? And of course, if you have a classical guitar, you're going to probably mostly be using your fingers. So... And so quickly for this first lesson, okay, is you're going to want to get your guitar into tune, because when each string is in proper tuning, then you have the proper tension across the guitar, the fretboard, and the body of the guitar, okay? And that's critically important. You're also I highly recommend 10 gauge strings. 10 gauge strings they bring out the proper tension of the guitar for the proper amount of tone that you need. If you go less than 10, you're going to lose tone. If you go more than 10, you're going to gain tone, but you're going to lose things as well, dynamics and some brightness and some different things. And so I highly recommend 10 gauge. And also you have warm strings, bright strings, and then Ernie Ball are the only ones that are known as a balanced string. So you can look all that up for yourselves as far as your strings. There's also coated strings. They're more expensive. I highly recommend getting the Ernie Ball strings. If you're going to go acoustic, they have a set called Flames. The Ernie Ball Flames are probably the best acoustic string that you can get out there. One of them anyway. The next would be obviously the coated. So your first chord is going to be A. Now A is okay. Is you're just going to take your first three fingers and you're going to place them on these strings right here. This string is known as the A string, the second string. All right, your second big string is the A string.